What is up, guys? I'm back with more My Hero Ultra Rumble news, and there are just 2 weeks left in Season 12, and the new trailer for Season 13 is dropping sooner than you think, and thanks to datamined info, we know who the next character will likely be, and because it's the anniversary season, we could also possibly see a second character released this season. As always, I got you covered on the details, so let's jump into the breakdown. So last time we talked about the new mode that just dropped, and we essentially got a decent amount of content in Season 12 with the release of Tamaki, a new game mode that's tied to a new seasonal event, and 2 new skill sets for Endeavor and Mirio, in addition to the new costumes and nameplates. I know opinions are mixed on the quality of the new area control battles, but still it was nice to see actual new content added this season, mainly on the back end when things usually go stale around this point in the season. But now we have a new season right around the corner, and we'll get our first official peek at what's next this upcoming weekend. The next official tournament hosted by Bandai is next Saturday, and they'll be streaming all of the finalists competing to see who's the best in the first official cross-platform tournament. This isn't just another Bandai stream either, because they're using it to kick off the anniversary hype, and right after the tournament we'll be getting our first look at the Season 13 trailer. They also did this way back in Season 7, where we got to see the trailer for Season 8 right after the tournament, when they also revealed that crossplay would be coming, and they recently stated that going forward they'll look to host the tournament yearly in September around the anniversary season. Now that we know when the trailer drops, we can talk about who might actually be revealed as the next character. In the past, data miners have had a pretty solid idea who's coming next based on the amount of data in the files, but back in Season 11, the devs removed all of the unreleased character data from the files only to add it back this season, but with the data counts changed. Real quick, I want to give a shout out to the Doc, aka Huge Pollution over on Reddit, as well as LFJ, High Earth, Hydros, and all the others for all their work they do to keep us up to date on what's in the pipeline for Ultra Rumble. Not knowing what's coming in the future would be a nightmare, so I definitely appreciate everyone who helps piece together upcoming releases for the game. But thanks to a recent breakdown from Doc, we know that prior to the data wipe, Stain and Mineta had the highest data count in the files, with Jiro and Tokoyami close behind. But once the data was re-added, you can see that Jiro has the highest count, with Tokoyami and Stain basically tied behind her, with now Mineta, Mina, Gentle Criminal, and Mei Hatsume having roughly the same amount of data. So what does this all mean for us players? Well, that's hard to say definitively, but it seems to suggest a bit of a shakeup in the release pipeline. Obviously, we don't have inside information as to why, but we do know that there is a new lead producer in charge now since the former producer has moved on to take over for the upcoming All's Justice game. And Season 11 was the first season with that new producer taking the reins. And we've already seen changes, with one of the most noticeable being the release of multiple skill sets per season. Going by the data prior to the wipe, you have 4 clear candidates for a possible release in Season 13, with Stain and Mineta as the front runners, but now it looks like Jiro and Tokoyami have jumped the line. All of them have animations and attack data in the files, and Jiro has had animations since the game launched, but was never in the immediate post-launch release pipeline. Internally, they could still be going by the planned release order prior to wiping the data, and could be looking to confuse or discredit data miners, which isn't unheard of. But regardless, it's highly unlikely that it'll be someone other than Stain, Mineta, Jiro, or Tokoyami. And because it's an anniversary season, it's not outside the realm of possibility that we could see a second character added along with a skill set released between them. Stain being the main release for the anniversary would be huge because players have desperately wanted a new villain since Season 9, and Stain is definitely popular enough to carry a season on his own. But having Stain as the major release and then adding Mineta in to close out the season makes sense because they might not believe Mineta could carry a season as the sole character release, so pairing him with a bigger name like Stain could work as a selling point despite there being no real ties between those characters. But a counter argument could be made for Jiro and Tokoyami because, as I mentioned, Jiro has been in the plans for a long time and she does have a fan base as well, and in Season 7 of the anime we saw her and Tokoyami operate as a duo, so there's a bit of synergy on that front, but also with the expected skill set release. According to the data, Hawks looks to be the next skill set added to the game, and not only did he work with Jiro and Tokoyami in the previous season of the anime, but he's also a mentor to Tokoyami, so adding him in between both character releases works on multiple levels. But here's where things get interesting. We're also due for a map update for UA Island, with a lot of players hoping to see a nighttime variation added, which could play into a potential release for Tokoyami, since canonically his quirk is more powerful at night. So again, there's definitely a case to be made for Tokoyami being a big part of Season 13. As I mentioned, the new producer seems to have a different way of doing things, and starting in Season 11, we saw releases lean more into character chemistry and synergy, while also giving characters with high popularity a little priority. With Monoma releasing the same season they dropped the skill set for Kendo, but with the surprise addition of an All Might skill set in the middle, and this season you got Tamaki alongside Mirio's skill set with Endeavor in the middle. So I see a stronger case for Jiro and Tokoyami being the releases next season, but as I said, we don't know anything definitively just yet, but we will have at least one last season before the end of the year, so there's still a chance to see Stain this year. I don't know where that puts Mineta in the pipeline, but if they chose to hold off on him for a bit, I think saving him to release alongside a Mount Lady skill set could work in terms of synergy, but we'll have to wait and see. Now I want to hear from you guys. Which characters do you want to see get added next season and why? If you found the video informative, drop a like, it really helps the channel, and subscribe so you don't miss my breakdown on Jiro and Tokoyami's potential gameplay in Ultraman. Thanks as always for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.